again. Let's just wait for everyone to...
A dog barking. My dog.
Is it your dog?
Yes.
Draw some
But I don't
eyebrows.
want to mute
Draw some eyebrows on it.
Kako si ka gibređi na angliski?
Oh wait, there are three words you could use for that. Garbage collectors, but there are others. There are others. I just
The garbage collectors outside and my dogs are going crazy.
Who's not here? There's one more person missing.
Beris.
No, I removed him.
Why?
We'll talk about some other time. Okay, now we were talking about those innocent mistakes. Can you blame someone for an innocent mistake? Whose fault is it?
It's innocent. How can you blame someone if it's innocent?
If it's an innocent mistake, he knows what he's doing, so it's the person that's doing it.
Yeah, well, isn't innocent the opposite of knowing what you're doing?
Yeah,
No,
they don't know. Being
don't know,
innocent is
so?
not knowing. But don't you think that maybe his parents are to blame?
Yes, his parents are, but that person isn't.
Well, it's the parents' fault then, right? Because they should bring up their child not to shoot strangers.
Don't shoot people on the streets.
We've actually had a lot of problems in first and second grade because there are children who don't know how to behave. And
teacher, what if the child doesn't learn from his parents, learns from the internet or from school? Then the parents will have...
Yeah, well, their parents should be a bit more careful about what they let the kid to do.
Yeah,
so
that's
they
still
should.
the parents' fault.
Okay.
Yeah.
It might be the parents' fault.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Is it innocent the opposite of guilty?
Yes. But innocent has another meaning of doing something not knowingly. You know, you're not aware that you're making a mistake. Like in a very naive way. Another question. As people grow older, do they make more or fewer mistakes?
Fewer.
It's on the person.
I would think fewer.
Fewer.
Because as you grow, you learn things that you didn't know.
But if you learn the right things, you will make fewer mistakes. But if you learn the wrong things and you think the wrong things are right, then you'll make more mistakes as you grow up.
How you grew up. It's what kind of influence you had from other people.
Because if you think that being a terrorist is a good thing, you would probably make more mistakes because you think it's a good thing, but it's actually a bad thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay. But don't you think that nowadays you don't really have the opportunity to make so many mistakes because all you do is go to school, go to extra lessons, and that's about it. You don't really talk to that many people. And we as an adult have a huge responsibility with a lot of people. And I think that there is a higher chance of me making a mistake. Wouldn't you say that?
Yeah, but we try to socialize with kids. Like, for example, from my German class, I talk to pretty much every person. And if I say something bad to that person, that would offend them. So that's a mistake. I don't think age is really that big of a deal because you can make the same mistakes when you're not the same, but the same amount of mistakes when you're an adult and a kid.
I sometimes think that some people, as they grow older, they grow more stubborn. They're more stubborn. They don't really accept other opinions.
Relatable.
So they're more likely to make a mistake. I mean, my mom, for example, I'm taking my mom as an example. As she's growing older, I mean, she's getting more stubborn. And I think my father has given up. You know, she makes a mistake. He tries to point to the mistake. She just says, "No, I didn't make a mistake." And he just gives up and says, "Okay, you didn't. All right, whatever." And it's weird because people, as they're growing older, they should be wiser. I'm not saying that my mom is not wise. Don't get me wrong. I love my mom. But I'm saying that I know a lot of people in my family who are very stubborn and they're just getting more and more stubborn. Or
Me
maybe I
too.
just don't have the energy to put up
Me
with
too.
them. Okay. Uh, is there a case when you don't need to apologize for a mistake? Because the
Yeah.
rule of thumb is that you apologize for mistakes, you move on. Is there a case when you don't?
Sure.
When you're not the
If you
one.
bump into a tree, you're not gonna apologize to the tree. That's a
Sorry,
mistake.
tree.
It might hurt your nose, but you're not gonna apologize to the tree. You're gonna apologize to yourself for
But you
doing
hurt
that
the
to
tree.
yourself.
You should apologize.
Nicole,
Yeah,
what did you
well,
say?
I'm just kidding.
Okay, that's interesting. So when no one is affected by your mistake, you don't need
if
to
it's a
apologize.
harmless mistake, you shouldn't apologize.
There's
Not that
no
type of
point
harmless
to
mistake, like, you know, the kid with the gun. That would still be kind of like a mental mistake. Like, you might be affected in your brain by it, but if it's like a mistake, like dropping a pen, who's affected by it? Nobody. So there would be no reason for you to apologize.
Okay, good enough. Making mistakes comes in different forms. You can make all sorts of mistakes, but so do apologies. How do you apologize for your mistakes?
State the mistake, state my opinion, and then apologize.
Okay. Do you start with "I know what I did. I know it's wrong. It will never happen again"? Something like that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anyone else? Does anyone else have a different way?
Actually, depends on who I'm talking to.
Nicole?
Because if I'm talking to my sister,
teacher, I do it
sorry,
like that if I talk to my parents or something. But if I talk to a friend, I just say I'm sorry. And that's
and you bump them on the shoulder. Sorry, bro. You do that?
if I talk to my sister and if I've made a mistake and if I know it's a mistake, but it's kind of like
she deserved it.
like
Would you go? Sorry, Dad.
No, I don't argue with my dad. I don't get the stereotype of teenagers being rebellious. But if I'm arguing with my sister and she doesn't even have to deserve it. Maybe it's just sometimes being like, I know it was a mistake, but if I'm mad at you, I'm still gonna do it sometime. I mean,
how do there's a guy, a famous YouTuber. What's his name? Paul Logan Paul. What's his name? What's his name?
Logan Paul.
Logan Paul. There was a video on YouTube of him going into a forest in Japan where people commit suicide, right?
Yeah, and he was making fun of some that
obviously a huge mistake, right?
Yes.
How did he apologize?
I haven't watched a video or anything, but
I haven't watched it, but I know. But how did he apologize? Do you know?
Sure. I didn't watch that, but I think I could. Teacher, I think that he apologized like maybe all the YouTubers. He just started singing and he cried fakely, and then everyone forgave him. Like basically all of the YouTubers.
What about this? What if the president of our country is seen on the street throwing up, and it's a mistake? Everyone knows about it. What would he do? How would he apologize?
Why would he throw up?
Because he was drunk. Who knows? I don't know. I'm just making up an example.
Yeah, well, but
how would he apologize?
But there's a difference between being drunk and throwing up and being sick and throwing up. Because if
he was drunk.
Well, that's different.
Then he.
So that means he's not a responsible president.
But how would he apologize?
Yeah, not really.
Because he's a public person, and public figures have a different responsibility than normal people. Like
yes, but he's still a person. He's allowed to get drunk once in his life.
What do you think?
I don't know. I mean, how should I say this?
No. We're not the same. You know, a president is not just a normal person, and I'm not just a normal person because I'm your teacher, and you look up to me for most part. And if you see me drunk on the street and throwing up, I think that it would jeopardize our whole relationship. I don't think you would feel the same seeing a teacher throwing up and a garbage collector throwing up.
Well,
I would understand that you did it. It might change my opinion about it a bit, but I would understand that you are a human and you need it in your life.
Will teacher publicly apologize and admit his mistake, that he doesn't have to be drunk on the job because he's a really important figure.
Okay, so that's what I was saying. Public figures have a responsibility in front of a huge audience. The president of the country has responsibility in front of all the citizens of the country. So he has to come up with a public apology. I'll tell you what I did once. And I know a friend of mine has a daughter, and whenever she makes a mistake, this is wonderful. I love it. I should do it. Whenever she makes a mistake, she takes a chair because she's a child, like 4 years old or 5 years old. When she makes a mistake, she grabs a chair, stands on top of the chair, and publicly apologizes to, formally apologizes to her parents. Like, I apologize for making this mistake. And I think it's cute, because you can't be mad at the person after doing that.
Yeah, well, when it's a 4-year-old, you can't. When it's a 50-year-old president, it's easier to get mad. When it's a 4-year-old being like, I apologize for my mistake and I'm never gonna do it again, and with that cute voice, and that's different.
Okay, what about this? Your best friend did a terrible mistake. Would it be the same for that person to approach you and to say, listen, I made a mistake, I apologize, or to just fix the situation if he just stands in the hall of the school, the whole school, everyone can see, and he says, I made a terrible mistake and I want Yana to forgive me. That's different. That's different type of apology, right?
Yeah, it is.
But it depends on the situation. Once I was almost close to breaking up with my girlfriend. I did something very stupid, and she was very mad at me. And at that time, I was teaching in another school, and I was teaching 7-year-olds or 8-year-olds or something like that. They were very young, and I told them about this. They asked me, teacher, what's wrong with you? And I said, well, I had a fight with my girlfriend. It's quite bad, and this is what. And they said, can we do something about it? And I said, well, maybe we can. And I asked them to draw a picture of her. They had never seen her, so I asked them to make a drawing of her, and they all drew something different. They drew me and her having dinner and saying, please forgive teacher, he didn't want to make a mistake, or something like that. And when I gave, there was like 7 or 8 drawings. When I gave them to my girlfriend, she just stopped being mad at me, and I fixed the situation immediately. And she still keeps them, so I suppose it depends on the situation.
It's cute. It's cute.
It's very cute. But
it's a cute way to solve a problem.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. It depends on the mistake. It depends on
getting your students to apologize for you.
It was actually like a mental blackmail. You can't say no to that, right? You can't say, oh no, I refuse to take these wonderful, cute drawings.
Yeah.
No, never gonna happen.
What about this? I said, what about this, like a million times today, but I'm very tired. I apologize.
Everyone is. It's like the second. How do you say this? Before the last day of the work week. So.
Right.
Everyone. It's kind of.
And it's really rainy today.
Have you ever been in the situation of making a mistake, and you knew you were going to make a mistake, but you decided to go through it?
Yes.
To go through with it.
I probably
Lara said yes.
but
I want to hear Lara's.
She said it really fast, so that's.
Well, I don't remember, but I'm sure I've done that. I mean,
why? Why would you deliberately do a mistake?
Because sometimes we think that the things we're doing are right, and we know that they are wrong, but we still do them because we want.
Okay, yeah.
Opinion about this. I have thought about this, and I have made a mistake knowing that it's a mistake, but I haven't thought it would be that big of a deal, that big of a mistake, because I did the thing that was not right, and it ended up being a bigger deal, and I didn't think it through before I did it. So I mean, I have experience.
Teacher, I haven't done that, but I think that's to do better to us, not everyone, just us. We first think about ourselves, and then we think, oh, if we do this, like after that has happened, oh, if we do, so I did this. First we just think, oh, if for example cheating on a test, oh, if I cheat I'm gonna get a 5. But then but then when you've done it you think, oh, but what if someone doesn't know and has tried to learn it and has really spent time doing that,
so you
and
regret doing it.
No, I have never done it, but I'm taking it for an example.
Cheating might be a good example, because you know that cheating is a mistake, but you decide to do it because the price is too high. You want to get away with it and get a 5. What about this? What about this?
What about this again?
What about this third time? The whole class, there's 23 people in 7A and 20 people in 7B. Let's talk about 7B now. Sarah, can you turn on your microphone? This is a question for you now. So
you're actually the only one from 7B here.
17 people. This is a very tricky question, mind you. 17 people from the class want to skip lessons. They say, you know what? Today we're feeling very rebellious. We won't tell any teacher
that has happened to my cousin.
That we're going away. And 17 people of us are saying yes. Sarah, are you coming? You know that skipping lessons is a mistake, right?
Am I coming?
Are you going? Are you?
Depends on the people.
17 people are going. There's only 2 people staying. Would you go with the people skipping lessons, or would you stay?
Who are the 2 people sitting? Are they like the?
Does it matter?
Am I going with 17 absolutely dumb people, or am I going with normal people?
I have something to say. Nicola just called me and he said that he has problem with his internet and he's gonna try and join again.
Okay, thank you, Sarah. Okay, let's say 19 people are skipping lessons.
Am I going with 19?
Are you going with the rest of the class, or would you stay alone in the class?
If stupid people are staying,
no, 19 people.
19, you're the only person that doesn't go.
You're the only person who needs to decide whether you're going or not. Would you stay alone in the classroom, or would you go? But you know you're making a mistake. You know you're making a mistake, right?
And it might be a big
We're all in this together. I can't.
If you were the only person who was supposed to stay in the classroom, would you stay?
No.
Okay, I'll ask everyone. Eden, would you stay?
No.
Lara?
No.
Kaya?
I think I would stay.
Okay, Yana?
That is just
a
bully.
Anna, would you stay?
Yes.
Yes. Thea?
I feel so stupid
depends.
now.
I think once the teacher told us to go because it was the last class and we were like half of the class, and he told us to go, and we were like,
no, that's a different thing.
No, but I feel so stupid saying this out loud right now.
Why?
I don't know. I mean, you're a teacher. You're asking us a question if we would leave a teacher's class.
You know what? Because it's a very.
I regret saying that I would go.
It's a very interesting situation. If you decide to skip lessons, obviously you're making a mistake towards the school and towards the teachers academically, right? Teachers and the school might be mad, right?
Yes, and the parents might be very mad as well.
The parents might be mad as well. But if the whole class, 99% of the class decides to skip lessons and you stay, don't you think that maybe you're making a mistake socially?
You're making a bully wish. You're wishing to get bullied. You're begging God, bully me.
So let's see the consequences.
I don't think it's a mistake, because in the long term, it's gonna benefit you.
I don't.
But in the long term, Kaya, don't you think that in the long term you might get called names and picked by the cool
Yes,
guys?
exactly my
You're
point.
nerd.
Kaya,
In my case,
you're not
Bully me
cool
as a
enough.
nerd, please.
20 people from the class skipped lesson, went out, and you just stayed. How do you feel now? How do you
in
feel?
my
I don't
case,
think
being
doing something bad is cool.
in my
Okay.
case being me and being a fan of a lot of things that other people don't like,
Okay.
not going with the cool kids and with everybody else would be the greatest bully wish of my life.
Would you say
I
that
would
that,
regret
that
it
would
for
be a
the rest of my
mistake?
life. I
You
don't
have
know.
to really analyze the consequences, because in the first case,
Because
if you skip the lesson,
To be
teachers,
honest,
parents might be mad, but they might say, well, everyone did it, so maybe it's not that bad. She didn't want to stand out. If you do this mistake where you stay,
you're gonna stand out
it's
forever.
maybe
gonna
20
be
people will hate you until the rest of
it's
your life.
gonna be very
Yes.
traumatizing, and
Teacher,
it might cause bigger problems.
why?
Teacher, to be
Having
honest,
one
Why would
minus
if
they
there was
hate
no
you?
consequences, I'm down to skip.
Okay.
But
Kaya?
Teacher,
like,
why would you
I love
why would they hate you?
because
of
you're
peer
you didn't
pressure. God damn
you
it!
didn't
Why
stick
would they
with the
hate
others,
you?
because you
the
didn't
loser
stick
on
with the others.
side. To be
They would
honest,
think that you were the loser.
But
Now,
it's not.
what about if we do this? If
But-
we take the level higher, what if you saw everyone? Now, this is a clear situation: skipping lessons, right? You know the consequence.
let me just say this.
Yes,
My
Sarah?
mom always says, if everybody's jumping off a cliff,
Yes.
would you do it?
Aha, good. But is
If
skipping
people
lessons
told you to
jumping off
jump
the
out
cliff?
of the window, would you do it? God.
Am I stupid?
If
Do I have a brain?
if
Yes.
students, if 19 students from your class bring a bottle of whiskey in the classroom and
No,
they start drinking it,
no,
would you join them?
no.
No, because you know that it's that bad. But is skipping a lesson that
Where do you
bad?
find a bottle of whiskey?
Depends on whether you've done it before. Because skipping lessons is something that
If
the
you've
cool
done it
kids would do.
before, no. It depends only on whether the crime you're committing is serious
Yeah,
enough.
I get that part, but if you've had a reputation of skipping lessons in your past and you do it again, it wouldn't be that like
Uh-huh.
big of a deal. Because oh my God, he skipped lessons. Well, what are we gonna do? No one is gonna say that. And if some of the so-called uncool kids do it, and it's gonna be like, wow, what the hell?
Let
To be
me finish.
honest,
Yes, Sarah?
if like they're planning on skipping and you're the only one who hasn't said something and you're like, oh, I want to skip with you. Oh, the loser's gonna skip. Yeah, right. Look at that nerd.
Okay.
Yes.
I have a meeting, so I'll finish with two questions, because the meeting has already started. Who cares? Do you have the responsibility to admit your mistakes? I'm not asking you if you naturally want to admit it. Do you have the responsibility to do it?
Yes.
I think I do. Yeah.
Why?
If it's
Nicola?
depends on my opinion, actually.
Well, teacher, I think it's better to just admit your mistake than if you did
There's
something.
a pity side of me.
It's better to admit it to yourself than for others to find it out in another way and be even more mad. It's better to just admit it yourself, so they know that you know that you did the mistake.
Okay.
There's a pity side of me who would do this. For example, in the past, we were in an argument and we, for example, did something, and then they ask who should be blamed, and the other person lies and they practically blame me. In the future, I'm not gonna admit my mistake and let the other person be blamed. That is just pity, and I would do that.
I would do the same.
That is
Okay.
natural.
The last question is: do you have the responsibility to expose someone else's mistakes?
Yes.
Depends on the person.
Depends
Yes.
on how big
To be
the
honest,
mistake is.
Depends on how big. If it's very big, then yeah.
depends on who I'm exposing.
That too.
I would expose my enemy 24/7 if I want.
Yeah, I would do that.
Don't be
But
mean.
that way you would be the mean person. If you just don't expose the
Oh,
person,
I
it's not
don't
that big of a
care.
deal. You would be the better person, which would just kick that person's
Oh.
ass.
Oh, I don't care. She ruined my life. I'm gonna ruin her reputation.
Okay.
Same as Sarah.
Damn.
Very
I don't care what people think about me.
But you always have to tell the truth.
Make more.
Theo, what do you think? Do we have the right to expose someone's mistakes?
Yeah, sure. Why not? I'm just waiting for the right
Yeah,
moment.
sure, we're right.
Strike.
Because we are helping them by telling the mistake they did.
If it's not that big of a mistake, I would just let it go. Actually, depends on who it affects and if it affects someone. Because if it affects someone and if it's not that big of a mistake, I would still say it.
Teacher, if it affects someone who's a really good friend of mine, I would say it right away.
To be honest, I have had past experience with like exposing, and if I get exposed, I'm practically gonna get destroyed.
Okay.
So exposing is kind of not my thing. But if it's an enemy, let it all out.
I know. No, I get what you're saying. I think we have a social responsibility towards the whole society, towards the whole society, to expose some mistakes so we can improve things, to fix things. Of course, the person who made the mistake um,
Or they're not gonna like it.
might not have a happy end. For example, like imagine this: I get into the classroom, I sit on my chair, and on the chair there are those farting cushions. You know the farting cushions, and I just sit on it, and it makes a farting sound. And would you expose who did that? Because it's
If
embarrassing.
it's
No.
my enemy, yes.
Your enemy. You are seventh grade.
Yes,
What enemy?
I'm going to.
Swords
That's
enemy,
going
I
to
mean,
be
we're
the
gonna
end.
start fighting with swords any minute now.
That is going to be the end of me.
I'd love to.
Exposing enemies.
I'd love to be able to finish the last few questions, but they're calling me for the meeting, so I will have to stop here. Thank you for the listen. This was quite an interesting discussion. I hope it was useful for you.
Don't make enemies with me.
Don't listen
Big
up.
mistake.
Just don't forget the two really important examples I told you. The one with the village in Africa, where they just get around you and they remind you of all the positive things you've done, and the example I gave you with this, because this can be used for anything in life. You can use it with your parents, you can use it with your friends. It doesn't have to be for the competition. So this white sheet of paper with a black dot is a complete is a total mindset. You know, you have to be aware of it. And what the good thing is that once you're aware of it, and that people will focus on the bad things, you know how to go about it. You know how to deal with that. Okay. I'll have a nice day, and I'll see you next week. Okay. I'll send you the video. By the way,
Actually, tomorrow.
I gave you a warning.
I've sent you all 6 videos so far. Is there anyone who hasn't received them? Because I have sent them.
Teacher, I haven't
I have
received
them saved.
Have them.
Yeah, you have them? Wait, I'll ask. Lara, do you have all 6 videos?
Yes.
Yes. Kaya, what about you?
I don't have them.
But I've sent them to you.
We transfer.
Can you check your email? Kaya? Sarah?
Teacher, I don't have them.
I have them.
Nicola?
Teacher, I have them.
Ira?
I have them.
Yana?
Saved on my desktop, all
Yeah?
of them.
I think I have them.
Okay. Anna, what about you?
Teacher, did you send it to my mom's email?
Yes.
Or
Sanela.
I don't know. I need to ask her.
Ask her, please, because I'm sure that I've sent them. Kaya, where should I send them again?
Teacher, send them to my email.
Can you send it to me on Viber, please?
Okay.
Thank you. Okay. Have a nice day. I'll see you. Bye.
Okay.
Bye.